This is
Hey guys, we
amazing.
are live with the one, the only, the bow tied up guy looking sharp, Jeremy Thomas Lanier. What's up, Jeremy? How are you?
Hey, good morning, Ted. I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I love that bow tie.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like it when people get, a little dressed up. I don't know. I've got running shorts on underneath this and then, this crazy jacket.
Well, I figure since I don't have a lot on the top, you got to show it off the best you can. So bow ties were my answer to
It
that.
looks good. And Jason Braddock's already gotten on. What's up, Jason? Said, hey, Jeremy.
Hey, Jason, how are you? Oh, that's my bud.
He's such a good
That's my
guy.
bud. That's my realtor,
Okay,
dude.
so I'm
Yeah.
looking and I'm just making sure we're on and we're live, and it looks like we are good because he's on with us. So great. All right. So while I
Perfect.
am making sure, hey, what's up? John Kalish also says, Happy Monday, brothers. I love John Kalish.
John, superhero.
Superhero. All right. So tell us a little bit about you while I'm making sure that I can get. Oh, yes. So here it is. Tell us a little bit about you. We'll get to Feed
Okay.
Osceola. We'll get to historic downtown Kissimmee. We'll get to GoFundMe. We'll get to all the good stuff. But please, please tell me a little bit about you and tell the audience too.
Okay, well, my name is, for those who don't know me, and I'm sure there's a lot, my name is Jeremy Thomas Lanier, and I'm a resident, an Osceola native, which is a rarity these days, and born and raised in Kissimmee. How's that?
Wow. I didn't know.
Yeah, we do exist. We're like unicorns, but we do exist. So, my family actually, my dad moved from Fort Myers, and mom moved from Fort Myers and opened up a business here in the early 70s. So I went to local school. I did not go to Osceola. I'm a Panther. I went to Gateway and graduated in 1990. And I've worked with my family and their businesses in historic downtown Kissimmee for many, many years, for decades. And Right now, I live in historic downtown Kissimmee with my partner, Christopher May, who's a local chef.
Christopher.
Christopher! And he and I live downtown, and we're heavily involved in our community as much as we can be with working and busy lives as we all have. But we love it. Absolutely love living downtown. And my
Kissimmee
family, my mom, my
grown
dad.
so
What's that?
much. I said Kissimmee has
Yes.
grown so much. You were going to say something about the family on the dad's side.
Oh, mom and dad live down the street. They live down Kings Highway, and so they're just a short bicycle ride away. And the shop, our family store, is right across from our house. So I can look out the window and see if there's customers waiting. When we get back to normal, there will be customers waiting. So
You have
it's pretty
what's the
nice.
family business, if I can ask?
So it's Lanier's Historic Downtown Marketplace. And it's at 108 Broadway in Kissimmee. It's in the old McCrory building. You remember
Yes,
McCrory's?
I sure
Like
do.
yeah, so it's like an old five and dime that we bought back in the 90s and converted into an antique mall. And so right now we're a consortium, if you will, of locally owned small businesses. So we have little mini shops, like some malls, antique malls have like booths. We call them mini shops because
So
they come,
cool.
yeah, it's really, they name their little stores and they bring in new merchandise. We sell it for them. And so it's the same concept as an antique mall, but it's more of a family that way.
So you obviously have a love and passion for Osceola County, which is one of the reasons why we've got two things. You tagged historic downtown Kissimmee. That has grown so, and we'll talk about Feed Osceola in a minute. But when I grew, I'm not from Orlando, but my wife was born and raised here. But I feel like I knew Kissimmee when, and to see the development, how amazing it is out there. It's not just cow pasture anymore. Not that
No.
it was, but it just has a different feel for it. It's really, really grown into its own really cool, quaint, um, fun community, I think.
It really has. And the thing I love about our community is that we are this thriving downtown business district. that has changed over time, but we still maintain this core value of history and tradition and family, and that's something that I think sets us apart from other communities. We have lots of great stuff, in our community now. $32 million development and expansion of Kissimmee Lakefront Park. We have the Sunrail, which has brought hundreds, if not thousands, of people to our downtown business district. And then, of course, City Center, which is our dining center of the downtown. A lot of people don't know, Ted. I don't know if you may know this already, but that historic downtown Kissimmee is the largest independently owned restaurant district in Central Florida.
I did
So we
not
have,
know that.
yes, that we have the trophy. We have that trophy. I'm holding it right here. And we're talking over 30 independently owned eateries, everything from desserts like Candyland Designs to Made in Italy Italian joint, Broadway Pizza Bar, Abracadabra. I mean, the whole gamut. So
I had no idea.
it's
See, my memories of my most recent memories of Kissimmee, I got as close to Kissimmee as the Loop, and then I hopped over to St. Cloud. I know the Loop isn't technically Kissimmee, is it?
ish. It's like right on the
Ish.
border.
It's ish. It's right on the border. But I didn't know that about the restaurant, so that's really interesting. I know Kissimmee as having a lot of cool mom and pop places. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of Latino and a lot of Latin food, really delicious
Oh,
Latin food too.
absolutely. With regard to restaurants, we run the gamut from Caribbean to Italian. We've got sushi. We've got Kissimmee Diner, which is just like a tribute. Do you remember Joni's Diner back in the day?
Absolutely.
Joni's Diner was like the burger joint, and in the back they had a pool hall where all the cowboys would shoot pool. I always thought that was so cool to be able to peer through the doors and look back like saloon doors. So Kissimmee Diner, which is in 120 Broadway, that's actually a reinvention of Brown's Cafe. And so you can get
So
a good old
cool.
fashioned cheeseburger and fries.
What are you doing? Tell me about historic downtown as far as what's happening now. Because obviously, as everything came to a pretty much shut down toward the end of March, everybody kind of had to scramble. Businesses had to scramble, merchants, restaurants. Tell us
Yeah.
about what happened in Kissimmee.
Well, I have a unique perspective because for the last 2 years, I'm president of the Downtown Business Association. And so a lot of these folks in the community, if not all of them, are my friends and my coworkers and my neighbors. And so one of the great things about our group is that it really is more than just a collection of business owners. I mean, we really are a family. So every Friday we get together at 9 o'clock on the dot. And between 25 and 30 of us have coffee and fellowship for about an hour. We call it the Kissimmee Coffee Club. And that began as out of a relationship between our Downtown Business Association and Kissimmee Main Street, which is our executive director is Diana Marrero Pinto. She's a dynamo. And so that connection has continued, although in the virtual world, because obviously we can't meet. We would meet at a different restaurant in the downtown, I should say. So now we meet virtually. And I guess sharing each other's experiences over the last month, we've obviously had to alter our operating times. So a lot of our retailers, all of our retailers are closed, including our store, our family store. The
Right.
restaurants have continued as they can to do takeout and curbside. Uh, Kissimmee Main Street has done a phenomenal job of sharing those businesses that are open, how they're continuing to survive. Both organizations, Kissimmee Main Street and DBA, have linked our merchants to different resources that the city and the county have provided, and the government, the federal government, including SBA loans, the PPP loans, anything and everything that we can do to get the word out. And Diana Marrero Pinto at Kissimmee Main Street and Angela McColachek, who is a small business consultant there, have really worked hard to connect with me and other business owners in the community to kind of not only build a financial resource network, but also a mental health network. Because nobody knows better what you're going through right now than your fellow business owner,
So
you know?
true. I love the support that you all. Um, I've heard the support, and as you're speaking, I know it's true that you all support each other. Like the businesses, the Kissimmee Business District, all of you guys really do support each other because that's what it's about right now. Everybody's going through this
Amen.
unique process of pretty much going through the same thing and
That's
trying to
right.
figure out how to maneuver through it. And I feel for any communities that don't have that cohesiveness and collaborative spirit like you guys do.
Absolutely. It's so important now more than ever. And, you know, my friends at Kissimmee Main Street, and they know that I'm a crier. So usually at any of our coffee talks, when I start to talk about the amazing energy that we have in our group, I always tear up because it is so meaningful to me, and I know to so many other folks. Our group has actually expanded outside of our district, and we actually have folks from outside our community who have wanted to become a part of it because it's just this incredible energy. And it's not something that any other community can't have. It just takes a group of folks who are really interested in developing a sense of community or continuing that sense to make it happen. And I'll tell you briefly the way that our coffee club got started. Jackie Espinoza, who owns Kissimmee Diner, and Diana Marupito got together for coffee one day and posted about it on Facebook. And of course, I saw the post and got butthurt about it and was like, well, why wasn't I included? And so the next
Got
time
butt hurt. I haven't
they
heard that one today. Very
got
nice.
together, I included myself. Right. And so gradually, we just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And so now instead of, like 3 or 4, it's 25 to 30 of us that get together. And like you said, you need that sense of community. You need that sense of cohesiveness at any time. But now it's an extra comfort to have that support.
I think it's just so important to figure out a way to be collaborative. You know, we all look at we've all been taught to look at each other as competitors. And while there still is a competition with the pure sense of the word, meaning in the same industry trying to attract some of the same customers, that doesn't mean that the community
Sure.
part can't come first and foremost. What are you seeing as far as the planning of opening back up? Are people continuing to be positive? Are they putting plans in place since it will all be a brand new normal? If you guys get together and talk about it, I'd love to hear some of the insights that have come out of some of those meetings.
Absolutely. A lot of us are planning for definitely planning for the reopening of the downtown. I mean, we're used to this vibrant, 25,000 cars a day and all this activity in the community. And I anticipate that the tourists that we normally see will not be as prevalent for quite some time.
Right.
So we're really going to rely heavily on our locals to provide support to the small businesses who really are the backbone of the economic community in terms of Osceola County, Kissimmee and Osceola County. So uh, we are going by, of course, the governor of Florida's direction. But if we're given the green light, we are open with adjustments to the way we proceed forward, because I think there's one thing that we have to remember. This will be a new normal.
Yes.
Uh, we'll have to make sure we observe social distancing and personal preventative measures, washing our hands regularly, not touching our face and eyes. Those things we'll have to continue to do. And I think we can do that successfully. Our business owners are resilient. My friends who have shops downtown, we've seen hurricanes, we've seen economic downturns, and this situation is very unique in many ways because I think I know this is the first time for me that we've ever been closed down for more than a day or two. We've been
Right.
closed for a month now.
It's
So the
and
short answer to your question is, yeah, we've got plans to come back raring, and we're looking forward to that day.
well, first I have to tell you that your mom says love you. Um,
Oh, hey, Mama Lanier.
she popped on. And a lot of people are sending you love. And I promise that Jeremy will get to that. And I'll get to it too when we get a chance. This new platform doesn't let me respond like I want to respond. And so it's a new normal for me as far as this is concerned. But I want to give them a shout out. Lots of love People are showing you on the page.
That's
All right, let's talk
awesome.
about the Feed Osceola initiative. Tell me about that.
Okay, so Feed Osceola came about as a result of a partnership between our friend Courtney Hendricks Daniels, who owns Kent Custom Homes, a custom home builder in St. Cloud. She reached out to my partner Chris, Christopher May, and Chris is a chef by trade. He also works for the Osceola County School District, and he's done some catering for Courtney, Christmas parties for their organization and a whole bunch of other stuff. So she talked to Chris and said, now is a very, very difficult time. Our county, Osceola County, is not the richest county as it is.
Right.
But because of COVID-19, it put us in an extra difficult position. So she told Chris that if he would be willing to work with her on a fundraiser, that she would be able to match any funds raised up to a certain dollar amount. So
Wow.
she asked Chris what his thoughts were, and they both decided one of the local organizations that is near and dear to our heart and to Courtney's is Osceola Council on Aging. And I could go on for hours about the things that they do for the community and not only the seniors in our community, but the community at large. So they were chosen as the organization that we provide support for. And Chris started a GoFundMe page, started a Facebook page. Courtney and he made arrangements with Osceola Council on Aging, Wilda Balil, who's incredible, just a incredible person, an angel on earth. So the three of them and myself formed a little committee, and the GoFundMe page launched on March 23rd, but we really started sharing it about 2 weeks ago, I would say. And the last time I looked, which is just about 5 minutes ago, well, let's see how long, 16 minutes ago, before you started the broadcast, we're at $12,449.
Wow. See that
Now
people
that
really do want to get involved.
they really do. And you know what? We're overwhelmed because this is an extremely difficult time for even those who have a job. Finances are tight. And so to be able to provide any kind of support monetarily is just a blessing. So the great thing about this is that Kent Custom Homes is going to provide $10,000 in addition to that. So we'll, as of now, be at $22,449.
That's
The
amazing.
fundraiser, it is. I'm trying not to get teary-eyed here.
Yeah.
The
It's
fundraiser
okay. It's a safe
ends.
zone to get teary-eyed anytime.
I'm struggling. You said Mama Lanier said hi, and I was like, oh God, Mom. So I'm a mama's boy, proud of it. So the fundraiser ends on May 1st. And so there's still time to make a donation. No donation is too small or too large. We've had folks offer $10, $20. We've had a generous donation from Tom Tompkins of $2,500 and another of $2,000.
Wow.
I could go on and list all the donors. It's just incredible.
So tell
But
people we've got one question, and Andrea, I will ask that.
yeah.
But I want to ask, what is the money going to go toward for people who don't know what Osceola Council on Aging is?
Excellent. So that money that we collect is going to be provided to the Osceola Council on Aging in a separate account. And we're going to use that money, a portion of it is going to go towards local area farmers. Okay. So farmers like Mick Farms to buy fresh produce from our community because we're an agricultural community. We have the food. And what better way to provide support to our community than nutritious food, right? And
Yes.
locally grown nutritious food. So a portion of the proceeds is going to go to that. The other portion is going to go to purchase gift cards from local area small businesses, restaurants in particular. And those gift cards and that produce is then going to be distributed by the Osceola Council on Aging to folks in our community who need it the most. Every single penny. There's no administrative fees, no service fees, none of that craziness. Every penny collected goes to the Council on Aging to do one of those two things I just mentioned, either
Love
fresh
it.
produce or gift cards.
And how do people get involved in Feed Osceola? Can they just Do you need volunteers to help right now? Is it purchasing? Can they help purchase gift cards? What's the best way? I know you're going to be purchasing the gift cards. What's the best way, so that I don't speak for you, Jeremy, for them to get involved?
Well, there's three ways that they can get involved. So, of course, they can go to the GoFundMe page, GoFundMe Feed Osceola. They can also go to our Facebook page and just type in Feed Osceola in the Facebook search engine, and they'll find our page. So there's the financial possibility, right? If that isn't an option, and for many people it's not, then you can also donate food items. So you can either take your contributions directly to the Council on Aging. I would call ahead, make arrangements. They have a food pantry that they pull their food from to provide the community. And if you follow their posts, you'll see that they ebb and flow. So one day they'll have a half full pantry, the next day it's completely bare. So there's always a need. So food contributions. The third thing is volunteer your time and energy. I mean, it doesn't have to be the Council on Aging. That's who we chose. The St. Cloud Community Pantry does an incredible amount of work for our community. There's also your local church. There's other local organizations that may need your help at this time. We do Meals on Wheels. So my partner and I, when we have a day off from work, we'll do the Meals on Wheels. We'll get a Rolda and usually 7 or 8 folks, and we'll deliver to each one of them. I think the last time we delivered, it was a Friday, and they give you a little bag of groceries to give to them in addition to a hot meal and a cold meal and some toilet paper and some other essentials. And that bag of groceries gets these folks through the weekend. And I will tell you, I'm doing it.
That's good.
Sometimes this is the only opportunity that these people have to make a connection.
It's true.
So it's not only giving them food and giving them the things that they need to survive, but it's also making a personal connection with them and having a moment to realize that we're all going to get old. We're all going to, be isolated, hopefully not to that extent one day, but we all need somebody to reach out to us and provide that support. So Meals on Wheels is the way for us to do it. So those are my suggestions.
Meals
Sorry.
Meals
I
on
tried to get
no,
through it. I couldn't.
no. I appreciate. I think vulnerability is good especially when we are trying to get people compassionate and passionate about helping people in our community. So I love to see that. Meals on Wheels is one of my favorites because of the connection part. Even before COVID and the insanity, one of the best things about that program is, for so many of them, it is the only contact that they have, and it is such a welcome contact when they go in, when they bring it to the home. It's a beautiful, wonderful program. So big supporter of it. I get choked up thinking about it. Let's talk about you for a minute, because I think it's so important. You have this generous, community-oriented, compassionate spirit about you. Funny too, which I love. Where did the community involvement and the generosity come from?
Oh, you know what? That's a really good question. I think I don't want to say it's innate, because I think it is to a certain extent, but it's the way that I was raised. I mean, that's my answer. I went to church school and Sunday school when I was a kid, and that feeling or that message of always giving back to your community has been something that's been, impressed in me. And my parents live that life. They give back to our community on a regular basis, and so it's just natural. My partner has that same giving heart, and we both believe, to make a change, you have to be part of the change. And so sitting on the sidelines is one thing. There's a lot of people who do that and contribute after a fashion, and that is wonderful. And then there's folks who, like Wilda, who are in the trenches every single day trying to make a difference. And it's not how much you do, as far as I'm concerned. It's that you make an effort to contribute in whatever way that you can.
I agree.
And so yeah. And also having a genuine love for where you live, the people that you're surrounded by, that makes a huge difference.
Well, you can't. That's why I love doing these live shows, because you can't fake that kind of passion that you have for where you live, and that care and love for what you do and where you live. And so you see it live, and that's why people relate more. And that's why I love to get a background on guests like you, friends of the show, because people need to see, hey, this guy's human, funny, dresses nicely, and does a lot for the community. I'd love to get involved. It's amazing what will motivate people to get involved. I wouldn't be surprised if someone says, I love the concept, but I'm going to remember him for the bow tie, and that's why I want to get involved. We'll take it, guys. Whatever way you want to get involved, awesome. All right, let me ask you one last question that I ask every guest. Tell me what you, Jeremy, are personally doing to stay creative, to stay focused during the crazy quarantine time.
Well, surrounding myself with positive people. I turn off I do check the news pretty regularly. My responsibilities, I also work at the Florida Department of Health in Osceola County in communications, public information officer. And so it's important for me to know what's going on in the community, and I get that from a variety of sources. But when I get home, I like to unwind. I have a few online games that I play, a few shows that I watch on TV that are just mindless fast food for the brain, and also finding activities. So every Sunday, our family, the Lanier family, we get together at the Lanier family homestead, my mom and dad's place, and we have dinner for a couple hours, and we just hang with each other, and spend quality time and catch up on each other's lives. And I think that is one of my sanity savers. That, and surrounding myself with people who are uplifting and kind, and just trying to make it through this whole craziness together.
Well, you're absolutely amazing. Jeremy Thomas Lanier, historic downtown Kissimmee, but GoFundMe Feed Osceola. You definitely want to check that out. I tagged them. You can see it scrolling along the bottom of the screen. I can't thank you enough. You're a joy, my friend. What a great thing that you're doing. And your positivity is just contagious, and I love that. So thank you so much for all you do, and thanks for coming on the show.
I loved it. And I just want to say one more thing. I am a minor part of this. I mean, I've been blessed to be a minor part of it. It's really because of Courtney Hendricks Daniels, Kent Custom Homes, my partner Chris, and Osceola Council on Aging. And thank you for having me on this morning and spreading the good news.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you back soon. Thanks so much, Jeremy. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend.
Y'all check it out. Check it out. Get involved. Support local. That's my speech for the morning or afternoon.